more questions coming in here. In 2014, the SNP stated that an independent Scotland's wealth would be based on oil. In 2020, the price of oil has fallen below the price of toilet paper. Is the SNP basing its wealth on toilet paper? At this moment, toilet paper is much more sought after than oil. And that's a good question, because we were going to come to that. We may as well touch on it. May as well touch on it just now. But, you know, there was a book published in, well, I've got it here, so I'll just tell you. It was this doorstopper. Do you remember it? Scotland's Future. Scotland's Future. When I hold that up to the Facebook camera, the words, the letters will be reversed, but it should be okay on the Twitter camera. Scotland's Future, your guide to a separated Scotland, or an independent Scotland as they called it. And this was published by the Scottish Government. Remember, we talked about them last week. That's their new logo. So original. So original, that. I mean, who came up with that? It's amazing. Saltire. Never have thought of that. Incredible. I mean, how much? I bet they paid, you know, £50,000 to a design company to come up with that. Saltire. Incredible. Incredible originality there. Anyway, they came up with this. Well, no, they did not come up with this book. It's 650 pages, and it was researched for them by the British Civil Service, which is to say the civil service in Scotland, which is an arm of the British state in Scotland. And they did this. The British Civil Service did this. They created a 650-page book on how to mess up, how to destroy our United Kingdom. Now, when you think about that, that's an absolute appalling outrage which should never have happened. It should never have happened. And we've written about this. And if anybody's got the link, stick it up on the Facebook thread there, about how how we must never allow the British Civil Service again to be allowed to be involved in a separation referendum. If the British Civil Service up here in Scotland is figuring out how to get dog licensing sorted out, or how to, you know, monitor pizzas or whatever they do these days, then sure, that's fine, but you should not be allowed to break up the country that is paying your own wages, okay? So that should not be allowed, and it should not be allowed again. And if the British Civil Service is allowed to help the SNP at any future referendum, then we are all in trouble, because a force for good can't produce this kind of stuff. You guys out there can't produce that kind of stuff. There's nobody who can produce this sort of stuff. This is like, I mean, it's a load of nonsense at the end of the day, but it's still an impressive document called Scotland's Future. Now, on page 300, they talk about oil, and in the 30 years from 2011, 99% of UK offshore oil production will come from Scotland's geographical share of the current UK continental shelf, blah, 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 blah. In other words, it's saying that the price of oil, and oil is something that could be a major factor within the Scottish economy. Well, we've seen recently just how impossible and how unlikely that is going to be, because the last time I looked, the price of oil per barrel has now fallen to a negative. And it was pointed out to me by a colleague a couple of days ago that the price of oil, when he last looked, was minus $31 per barrel. And what this means is that if Scotland had a barrel of oil, it would have to pay somebody $31 to take it away. Okay? And this book is trying to tell us, and the SNP tried to tell us in 2014, that we should base our economy around the price of oil. How absurd to base an economy upon such a volatile commodity. Such a volatile commodity. And you know what? It was and the price of oil isn't really going to get much better these days, because Russia and Saudi Arabia, for reasons best known to themselves, are flooding the market with it at a time of depressed demand, because fewer people are, of course, travelling worldwide these days, with everybody being stuck at home. So oil's not going to get any better, and then even if it did, it can't be relied upon. So we have to just forget the oil thing for the moment. Don't get us wrong, we love the British oil industry and we would like to see it being a success, and it's sad in many ways that it's struggling, but we have to be realistic at the same time. And it was pointed out as soon as this was published, this book, that Scotland's future, would you believe, is a precise anagram of fraudulent costs. Scotland's future is an anagram of fraudulent costs. How amazing. How amazing.